Hi, I'm Dave Cyderbaby. This is Rock Radio UK, and today I'm speaking to Keith Atack from the band Atack. Hello.
Hi Dave, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you? You're looking nice and chilled and
I'm
relaxed.
all right. Well, appearances can deceive. Yeah.
We
I
caught up
was
for the.
watching,
Go
sorry, I
on.
was watching a couple of clips from that. We remember when we met last summer in
Yeah,
was it Firefest? Was
Firebolt.
it
Yeah, in
Firebolt?
Manchester. Yeah,
Yeah, it was great. That's really that was a great day.
it was. I mean, well, I was literally going to refer to that myself. For me, it was like the find of the weekend to see you there because I was completely unaware of Atack as an entity in any form or whatsoever. And we just watched a gig, and I was there. Normally, I'm buzzing around, catching snatches here, there, and everywhere. But I stayed for the entire set, and I just loved every second of it. And I've been a fan ever
Wow,
since.
great,
So,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
pre-ordered the album Nine Lives, and that turned up in the post. And I probably played that to death on my elderly CD player in my car. So, um,
great.
it's been a busy few months for you guys, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it never really stops. You go from what sort of one situation to the other, and keeping the band together, and um, thinking about new material and things like that. But it was great to get out last year and do those shows, though, because playing those kind of festivals for me was a fairly unknown quantity with original music.
Hmm.
And it's almost, I always liken it to if you're going into if you were a boxer and you see your opponents and you go, oh my God, I'm gonna get killed here. And there was a slight trepidation with me, with it being first time out. And so I was kind of thinking, I hope we're going to start because there's all these really great kind of heavy bands, and I just thought,
Hmm.
I hope it's going to stand up,
Yeah.
which which was great. The great thing was it did, and you know, and so it's kind of done a bit of a springboard effect into this year with some festivals that are coming up, which we wouldn't have been doing without dipping our toe in the water last year after the album was
Hmm.
released.
Well, let's concentrate on the album for a minute. Nine Lives. When did that actually come out?
Um, it was February last year. No, November. Sorry, November last year. November last February. November, yeah. So
Yeah.
that would actually the album probably wasn't out when we did
Mm.
that show. So that was to look forward to. So yeah, so November.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I mean, you've got 11 tracks on the album, and every one of them just screams great classic
Oh,
rock
good. No, I
music.
appreciate it.
And
Yeah.
I'm a job. We're a few months on now, and I've still got a job to find my actual favorite. I've got the listing down here. I mean, Dead Man's Boots and Nine Lives are the obvious. The opening two tracks, and really, really good. But I think Poison Water is probably my favorite track still.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. It's great that because I don't think which I'm glad about. I don't think there isn't a kind of generic favorite list,
Mm.
which for me means that there isn't really a strong part of the album and a weaker part of the album. I
Yeah.
didn't want to. I think I probably said this to you before. I didn't want to do. I didn't want to record an album with any fillers on. I
Mm.
wanted I wanted the every song to be as strong as the other ones.
Yeah.
I didn't want one of those albums where you play a handful of. I've got thousands of albums when I was growing up as a kid, even from great bands that
Yeah.
you would probably play half the album and then probably the other half you'd skip over. I didn't really want that. I
Yeah.
wanted I wanted the album to be 11 really great tracks. Um, and something I could be proud of. So too many times when you do things and you move on, you do it and you move on and it loses its relevance. I don't want that album to lose its relevance ever, really, because
Mm.
particularly it would have been a debut album for us.
Yeah, I mean, you've had quite a long and illustrious career in the music industry, yet this is like your debut masterpiece, really.
Well, yeah, I needed to do something that I needed to do something that, you know, definitive, that defined what I'm like as a musician and as a composer and as a guitar player, really. I needed to do something because my career, although it's been great, it's never, you can't really pin a stamp on, because I played with so many different artists.
Yeah,
I've been like a session guitarist, and that's great too. And I mean, there's some brilliant, particularly coming out of America, like Tim Pierce and people like that, who are astonishingly great guitar players. But I wanted to do something that defined the way I play the guitar, and the way I write songs, then the music I personally love to play. So, and you know, the great thing is the album did come out like that. I've got no reproaches about it, thinking, well, you know, or I don't even think, well, I'll get the next one right or anything like that, you know, even though I'm looking forward to doing another one.
no, so we are looking forward to album number 2 already. Then,
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm still in the early stages of just, I don't write songs, and I think a lot of guitar players will say the same. I write a lot of ideas first. I put
yeah,
loads of ideas down. I don't formulate them into something, and I just leave. I stockpile. You know, so and you have to pick the ones that stand the sort of test of your own time to when you revisit it. You know, um, so and songs are usually formulated after a long laborious process of doing it. Oh, it's not laborious. I enjoy doing it, but enjoy like all guitarists do. I like writing ideas and riffs,
yeah,
not necessarily sitting down and necessarily thinking I've got to write a song today. You know.
yeah. There's no pressure of the studio time as such. Like
No, and I
it
mean
used to be.
sometimes we do. I found when we were in the studio doing the album, I did find, particularly with lyrics, I found that Lee and I sparked off a few. We made changes while we were there,
Right.
and also a couple of the tracks, because I didn't want a remotely recorded album. I left some of the songs, like Seven Seas, for instance.
Mm,
I really left it till we were in the studio, because that song, for instance, started life completely different to that. It
okay.
started as a ballad I wrote in lockdown, and it was very much that's before I'd got the band together. But even though I thought the song was there, I thought the arrangement I'd done on my own at home wasn't the right arrangement for the band. So I I kind of I took it in, and I just said to everybody, look, let's deconstruct this song, and let's treat it like we're writing it now, you know.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Um,
you know, and they were the enjoyable moments to me. It was almost like the way you hear albums used to be made, you
yeah.
know.
So it's certainly a team effort. Then it's just you're bouncing ideas off of each other as you go along.
Yeah, and I think they'll all tell you, it was very important to me that they all um they played. I didn't have a blueprint telling them what to play. You
Mm,
know, I really wanted their own they were their own big personalities to come out while we were making the record. You know, I had an open mind with what they wanted to do. You know, as long apart from sticking to the format of the song, sort of thing.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, the band itself is quite a who's who in rock
Yeah.
history. This is just calling up friends and saying, do you fancy joining up, or is it just like,
Well, that it's easier said than done. I mean, they're all very hard to pin down.
yeah,
That's the only problem. You know, they're all hardworking, you know, musicians, and they're very difficult. It's very difficult to get the five of us in one room, to be honest. You know, it's gone are the days, as we all know. You know, you don't have record company retainers now. You
mm,
know, it's very difficult to keep the same nucleus of people together. Uh, consistently. And that's I have to be honest, that's the only thing, one of the major things I've found the hardest is pinning everybody down.
Yeah.
To be, um, the chances of us all being available on certain dates is really that's the biggest task.
Yeah.
Got no problems with the way they play, or that's not. It's actually getting them all in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 2 days rehearsal at the weekend, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
But that's been, even getting the rehearsal time together has been quite an accomplishment, really.
Well, you've
You
got a
know.
couple of gigs coming up, haven't you? The first one in the Patriot next
Yeah, the
Next
Patriot in
Friday.
Crumlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be our first actual solo show where
Right.
we're not supporting. I like supporting, by the way. I have no illusions or delusions about where we are on the bill. I just to be part of some of those festivals is great, and but yeah, the added pressure for that one is it is going to be our first. I know it's a club date, but every gig matters, and so that's going to be our first, and it's actually going to be our first 90-minute full show with all the album,
Right.
couple of additional tunes, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Say we're rehearsing at the weekend for that, so yeah, that's in Newport. That's on the 20th. That's in 4 nights time on the 24th of May. Week on Friday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and I mean, hopefully we can plug that as well because, there's obviously there's tickets available for that, and I'd like as many people, obviously as many people there as possible. It's going to be quite a special night for us.
It is a great venue. I went there a couple of months ago to see a few bands, and it's just well set up. It's well thought out, good lighting, and the bar is just superb. So, yeah,
Well, that's the main thing.
absolutely, absolutely. And it was a cold night, and I found the heater as well. So it was like I'll stand under that and wash the band from the side. The other one, which I'm going to be slightly more involved with, is Tower of Fire Festival, the end of June.
Yes, that's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a lineup there. Headlining, we've got Nitrate. Then you're second from
Yeah, second
top.
from the top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
no
pretty good
pressure.
going. No pressure at
Yeah,
all. And you've got
yeah.
bands like Remedy, Saracen, White Skies, and Gabrielle Duval.
Yeah,
So
Gabrielle Duval's on the same label. I'm looking forward to seeing her. She looks really good.
yeah, yeah. It's been put together by Fireworks magazine. So
Yeah,
uh,
great. Well, yeah, that's a great magazine.
yeah,
They've been
I'm not going to say too much because it is the opposition to me, obviously. But
Oh, is it? Oh.
but no. I mean, yeah, they've put this together at the Rebellion in Manchester, which is 29th of June.
29th
So
of June, yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's going to be quite a big gig for you as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's gonna be great though because it's a 40-minute set and it'll be like everyone will be in the mood by then anyway. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having that little, as I say, like I said before, I'm not bothered where we're on the bill, but to be up on the bill for this one's going to be, yeah, it's going to be something to look forward to. Not as I don't feel, I treat every show the same, really.
Mm,
I go into it, and I've always said this. I mean, I've played major venues, and I enjoy playing in pubs as much as I do arenas. To be honest, the music's good,
yeah,
so I'm looking forward to that. That should be a good night.
yeah. So what is the future looking like? I mean, we touched on album two. I mean, what are you doing with yourself now over the next?
Well, I do, as I say, I work with other artists.
Mm,
In actual fact, I'm just preparing to play with Robin McCauley from Michael
yes,
Schenker Group.
yes,
I'm going to be playing with Robin McCauley in October on the
right.
12th in the UK. So I've got to learn all of Michael Schenker's stuff, so, which is a bit of a tall order, but and like put the band together for that. That's not going to be with my band as such, but yeah. So things like that. I just played some tracks on. I played some guitar stuff on Robert Hart's album. So yeah, I'm still very active and I still enjoy working with other people. The Robbie McCauley thing I'm looking forward to quite a lot. I think he's a fantastic singer. He's a great songwriter, and obviously I'm a Michael Schenker nut. Anybody who's ever wanted to like be the epitome of a rock guitarist, rock star guitarist, you can't fail to like Michael Schenker. He's like, he's like he's almost like the Don now
Yes.
of that in Europe anyway. You
Yeah.
know,
I saw him for the first time in Stone Dead not very long ago, actually. I mean, it was, but I suppose going back, it's the early years of his solo career that was my era.
yeah, he's just his attitude and he's playing is just it's just so I mean, it's amazing, I mean, it's a lot different from people like Van Halen. It's
Mm,
almost like a European kind of equivalent in a way, quite different, but you know, um, I think yeah, and it's great to see that he's still playing and still
yeah.
playing great too. I often look at his shows on YouTube, and
Okay.
yeah, I still enjoy. I love watching Michael Schenker play.
Who else? Who else do you look to as a guitarist? As a guitarist
Well,
yourself, you know.
I was very heavily influenced, obviously, as a kid by Richie Blackmore and people
Mm,
like that. Um, and like the Kinks guitar player, I don't know which one of the who was that. I loved the Kinks when I was a
yeah.
kid. But then when as I progressed, when guitar post Van Halen, really,
Mm,
I got very much into Vinnie Moore, you know,
yes. Yes.
from UFO, and he was a big influence on the way I was like used to like study his legato and study his techniques, and I had all his albums, and so yeah, I've always liked metal, kind of. I I've always liked kind of mainstream but metal guitar
Mm,
players, but with some skill. There's some great guitar players. Like if you look on YouTube, there's a whole new raft of like Matteo Mancuso, Italian
yes.
guitar player, and I mean, they're just phenomenal. That's almost like in a different way. I mean, that's very fusion. Although he can just play anything. I mean, he's taken the guitar to a completely new level. I didn't know where somebody could. I certainly thought that it had really been covered
Yeah.
with, I mean, with the exception of people like Alan Holdsworth, and I thought that we'd pretty much. And then this guy comes along, and he's only like in his 20s and everything. So he's absolutely phenomenal. So the guitar it did go through a period I found of it stagnated a little bit, but I think
Mm,
YouTube has revitalized the guitar, and it's certainly revitalized younger guitarists to develop their technique.
yes.
Uh, so it's I'm glad to say the guitar has taken a resurgence in popularity with things, which is only good for us all, really.
Okay. Well, I won't take up too much of your time. I assume we can still all buy your CD and
Yeah,
merchandise from a
yeah,
website somewhere.
yeah. You can do that. Yeah, absolutely. Everything's the same. I'm not, as I say, I'm not going to let this album. I'm not in a rush to bring it all out. I don't want. I want,
Mm,
I want to, without kind of rigging it to death. It's a great debut album, and I don't want it to get lost
no,
by you know by rushing another one out, and so yeah, you can still buy the CD, you can still buy the vinyl, still buy everything as is. Yeah, everything's moving the same. It's good.
perfect. And we can see you a week on Friday at the Patriot at the Kremlin, and we can
Yeah,
see you at the end of June in the Rebellion in Manchester.
exactly. Yeah,
Keith, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the very
thank you,
best.
Dave. Always, yeah, pleasure. It's good to see you again, mate.
And you take care.